Hi guys, and welcome back to Hopscotch Moms. We are excited today because we have a special guest, and we are welcoming my neighbor and friend, Eric. And Eric has a YouTube channel that he has started recently, and he is talking about all things money, investing, budgeting, goals, financial goals, all kinds of great information. And especially at this time that we're in right now, with the economy not doing so great, those of you that are still working, still have an income, what you're spending every month is changing, and either not spending a lot that you used to be spending because you can't do anything except for buy groceries and toilet paper.
And crafts.
Yeah. And then there's also the stimulus check that could come into play for some folks as well. And so I thought it would be fun for us to sit down and talk with Eric about some advice as far as, like, if you find yourself in a position where you have a few extra dollars in the bank, you do get a stimulus check, or you just aren't spending money, like, now is a great time to actually do something with that extra money, and put it towards something where, you don't want to maybe necessarily put it in your savings account where you're not really doing anything with it. I thought we could chat with Eric about some great ideas and what we could do with that besides shop online.
Besides buy a couch.
Retail therapy.
Yes.
And you know what? You can use the money that you save on gas and use that for retail therapy. See? You're not really spending money.
Mr. Moneyman, would you agree with that statement?
That is a great segue that I want to use, because I have a really funny story that you guys are going to love. And I think, Ashley, you've maybe heard this story. So I have a saying that I hear from my wife all the time, and it's not how much you spend, it's how much you save. And so I have a friend of mine that she actually taught his wife that saying. And so he came up with his own saying when she says it, that is, if you keep saving me money, I'm going to go broke.
I love it.
I've never heard such a thing.
So it's really ironic, because it's like you hit on like so many of my videos, right? And I know every time I send Ashley a link to one of my videos, she's just like, oh, crap. Here we go.
I guess I'll watch
my neighbor lecturing me through the internet.
I know, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like most of us do not have the answer.
So if you love what you're listening to, make sure you hit that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell. Hitting that little bell makes sure that you get notifications every time we post new videos and new info, and you don't want to miss out. Subscribe.
And it gets so overwhelming when you're trying to do research and like you're trying to figure it out, and nothing, I feel like nothing tells you the same thing. And so it's like, can somebody just be the boss of me? Tell me what to do.
Well, it's the same thing with dieting, right? What's the easiest way to do it? Just tell me what my workout is today. Tell me what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snack. And if you do that, I will succeed to no end. Until I have red vines and chips and cake and all these other things in my house, and then until
I'm forced to quarantine, and then shit falls apart.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, one of the challenges is, for some people right now, they are, like you said, Ashley, they are either saving money because they aren't spending money commuting to work. Maybe their kids aren't having to go to daycare, so you're saving a little bit of money there. I guess kind of the best place for me to start would be similar to what I stated in that stimulus check video. Would be the first thing to think about is investing in yourself. And what I mean by that is, if you have any type of debt, look to pay high interest debt, which would be anything over 5 or 6% debt. Look to pay that down. One, because that's a guaranteed gain, right? Because if you're paying off a credit card that, let's say, is 7-8%, and you're getting that paid down. You're not
23%.
say that. What? Say it again.
23%.
Even better. I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just giving general knowledge
Oh,
here. I don't mean.
Good
Did you
Lord.
see how stressed I just got by the 23%?
I don't have that. I'm just saying there might have been a time in my life where I did.
Listen, I think we all had that time in our lives when we were in college. We signed up for that Citibank credit card and we thought, this is a license to go bananas,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And the truth of the matter is it's like right now the market is going crazy. And unless you have the ability to watch it every single day, or, you know, you're looking at some things that we'll talk about in a second, this may be the better option to actually pay off debt when you know there's a guaranteed return there. You know you're not paying 23%, 8%, 10%, whatever it may be, anything over 5 or 6%, you know that that's an immediate return that you're not paying. And the crazy thing is you can look at all kinds of amortization calculators out there. And if you're paying just the minimum on your credit card right now, the amount you end up paying in interest over the time that it's going to take, even if you never charged another thing to it and you just paid the minimum until it was paid off, it's insane.
Well, sometimes they show you on the bill, right? Did you
If
just
you're not paying attention to that,
Yeah.
right? It's really scary when you see
yes,
that number.
it'll say paid the minimum amount and then
And you'll
whatever,
pay it off in
plus-
7 years.
plus
Or
15 years, like 15
Yeah.
years or whatever. It's like this ridiculous amount, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, and
Jesus.
you owe $3,000 and you're going to pay $3,800 in interest, and then
Yeah.
the $3,000 as well. So
yeah.
it's crazy.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Eric? How do
Yeah.
you feel about student loans? Because I always hear like, oh my God, if you have a student loan, you should get rid of it before anything else. And how do you feel about student loans? And do you think it's more important to pay those off initially more so than everything else, or it doesn't really matter?
Student loans kind of fit in the same thing because, you know, the interest is there, but in a lot of cases, those are locked in. The challenge with student loans, you can't we can technically refinance them if you refinance your house and you drag the student loan into, if you pull any money out of your house or you get like a home equity loan or something like that, you can pay it off and potentially reduce that interest rate. I just read an article recently, Wells Fargo is stopping all home equity loans. And they expect bigger banks to kind of follow suit. What does that say about what they're seeing about the upcoming weeks and months of the economy? There's so much uncertainty right now that paying off, like I said, any debt that's over 5 or 6%, even if it is a student loan, a credit card, maybe you have a HELOC that's in that realm because it's tough to say anybody should have a HELOC that's that high right now because interest rates have been so low for so long. But for some people, that's all they could get, and they were doing it to maybe invest in a rental property or something like that. So, I'm kind of on the train of any debt that you have that's over that 5 or 6%. If you could pay it off and pay it off faster, once again, because right now everything's so volatile.
Mm-hmm.
There's, that's just money that you're guaranteed is going back in your pocket either now or in the long term when that thing is either paid off now or paid off down the road. Now, some student loans, you have to kind of look at them because some student loans, the interest is already baked in. So if the interest is already baked in and you're paying that interest no matter what, and paying it off early is not gonna change anything, then it doesn't really, that's where you kind of get that other side of the fence where they say it's not worth it to pay off your student loan. So you kind of have to look at whatever situation your student loan is in.
Is that the subsidized?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that only because I'd never had a student loan. So
Oh,
I got really lucky when I went to college.
Well, aren't you lucky?
No, I did. I got really lucky when I went to college because my dad was a disabled vet. I went to college on what they call the Disabled Vets Fee Waiver Program. So it covered everything but my books and like a small ASB fee when I went to college. So it was really so if there's any disabled vets out there and your kids are about to enter college, look into that program. It still exists to this day.
Interesting.
Especially, we've been at war for 19 years. I guarantee there's some disabled vets out there that probably have some kids that are getting pretty close to college age.
Yeah.
So,
That's good to know. good
I
information.
feel like they don't tell people
They
this
don't,
kind
you
of
know,
stuff.
I actually got really lucky and I don't even remember how I found out about it. It was completely on accident. And I didn't find out about it until my last year in community college, which luckily was fairly inexpensive. And then by the time I went to Cal State Long Beach, was when I found out about it. So once I got into the portion where my schooling was more expensive, we had that to save a bunch of money. I tried to go to my dad and say, "Hey, I found this, so that means the tuition you're just going to give me half of it instead, right?" So I go fly a kite. So that didn't go over so well, but I had to try.
Yeah. Okay, so after paying down debt, what's your next move? Go buy a handbag?
No.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to part 1. There are 3 more parts coming. Lots of great information. It went a little long because we just kept chatting because, I mean, obviously this is a subject that can go on and on and on. Don't forget to subscribe. Check back in for the next, for part 2. And if you have any questions for Eric, I will put all of his contact information in the description below, and you will be able to reach out to him and check out his YouTube channel as well.